Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the RotoBaller Radio Fantasy Football Preview Series. I'm your host, Anthony Aniano. Happy to be with you here today as we take a look at some wide receiver ADPs, some draft values and sleepers available for your fantasy football draft. Folks, don't forget, head over to rotoballer.com right now and check out everything we have there. The main page, the premium package, you name it, rotoballer.com, the place to be. Whether it's baseball for the second half of your season, fantasy football prep, and then your fantasy football season, or any other sport, basketball, MMA, esports, NASCAR, PGA, sports betting, whether you play daily or season-long formats, you name it, rotoballer.com has you covered. And guys, sign up right now for that NFL Premium Pass. Use the promotional code ACES. Save yourself an additional 10% at checkout. And all the great tools that come with that Premium Pass. The Draft Kit, the Team Sync, where you get to import your team and leagues. Okay, the Mock Draft Simulator, Draft Assistant, customizable draft cheat sheets, premium question and answer chat rooms, and a full season of premium DFS tools and picks included. The Team Sync tool suite is there for you as well. Customized advice, draft tools, rankings, cheat sheets, projections, and other draft tools like auction value calculators, draft assistants, and all sorts of great content right there at rotoballer.com. Make sure you like and subscribe right into the RotoBaller YouTube channel for all our great content, baseball and football. Download the app, the free app, where you get all our great articles, news updates, opinions, whatever you're looking for. rotoballer.com's draft app has it for you right there on your phone. All right, everybody. So if you've been following along, we've been doing this ADP draft value and sleeper series. We covered quarterbacks, we covered running backs. Today we talk about some wide receivers. Now, with some of the other videos I've done, the quarterbacks and the running backs, there's always been a high picked, or a relatively high, first 3 rounds, let's say, picked player who I kind of frowned upon. At the wide receiver position, I'm okay with the early round wide receivers. There's not much to dislike from many of the wide receivers going in the first, let's call it 36 picks, 12-team PPR. So first 3 rounds. The only one that maybe has a little bit of a red flag, and that's all I'll talk about today, is Tyreek Hill. And what's the red flag with Tyreek Hill? I think we all realize what it is. It's he's not playing with Patrick Mahomes any longer, and he's instead paired with Tua Tagovailoa. Now, the funny part is, anywhere you see Tyreek Hill, he loves Tua. He just called him the most accurate quarterback in the league. Okay? You can be accurate when you're throwing the ball short. The concerns with Tyreek Hill, paired with Tua Tagovailoa, is A, can Tua improvise the way Patrick Mahomes could? And B, can Tua throw the ball deep enough to get it to Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is currently going at an ADP of wide receiver 6. This is a consensus ADP over a variety of platforms. Wide receiver 6. His overall pick 20 in a PPR format. So he's going around pick 2.8, somewhere in round 2. Last year he did finish as wide receiver 6. So you're drafting him where he finished at his position last year. Although there's an obvious downgrade at quarterback from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa. Will he be targeted 159 times like he was last year with 111 receptions? Does he see over 1,200 receiving yards? Does he see 9 touchdowns? These are all legitimate questions. Now, I'm not downplaying the talent of Tyreek Hill. In fact, Tua was one of my quarterbacks I mentioned in the video series talking about quarterbacks. Does Tyreek Hill elevate Tua? Does Tua bring Tyreek Hill down? Does Tyreek Hill playing with another alpha wide receiver in Jalen Waddle hurt? It shouldn't. He played with Travis Kelce. Okay? Tyreek Hill has been amazingly consistent. 4 of his last 5 years, he's had over 1,180 receiving yards. He's had 100-plus targets. Last year was his first year over 100 receptions. Now, the one number I found interesting when looking at his career stats, Last season, Tyreek Hill averaged 11.2 yards per catch. That was the lowest since his rookie year. Okay, his average catch was barely over 10 yards. Tua can do that for him. Okay, I'm expecting I'm expecting Tyreek Hill to lose a little value, not much. He's still an 1,100-yard receiver for me. He's still 140 targets. He's still 90-plus catches. Okay, he's still borderline double-digit touchdowns. Okay, he has the ability to make plays on a play that doesn't send him 40 yards down the field, where Tua only has to hit him from 7 yards out. Okay, so Tyreek Hill, though, at 2.8, I'm not saying I'm fading him, but in a world in the NFL right now of elite wide receivers, and we'll talk about more wide receivers with value throughout the show, is Tyreek Hill who you want in the second round? Just float that out there. Is he who you want as your first wide receiver now that he's not paired with Patrick Mahomes? Okay, my second wide receiver I mentioned here today, Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans, going as wide receiver 20, going 14 wide receivers after Tyreek Hill, going overall pick 53, going 33 picks after Tyreek Hill, middle of round 5. Last year he finished as wide receiver 20, a rock solid wide receiver 2. Now, last season, 90 catches, 134 yards. Over 1,000 yards total, 1,037. Okay? He averaged more yards per catch, just barely, than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was 11.2. Brandon Cooks averaged 11.5. He averaged 64.8 yards per game. Roughly, let's call it 6 yards less than Tyreek Hill per game. And he finished the year with 6 touchdowns. Now, all of that being said, Brandon Cooks did that with a rookie. Not a first overall pick rookie. Did it with Davis Mills. Okay? Who was a second-day draft pick by the Houston Texans. Who the Houston Texans did not expect to be their starting quarterback at the start of the year. Right? They thought they had Deshaun Watson. Okay? Last year, Brandon Cooks with Davis Mills set a career high in receptions. Okay? Last year with Davis Mills, he had more targets, more receptions, and the same amount of touchdowns as he had with Deshaun Watson in 2020. Okay? In 6 of the last 7 years, he has 100 targets and 1,000-plus receiving yards. Brandon Cooks has been as consistent as any wide receiver in the league, and it hasn't mattered who has been his quarterback, going back to his days with the New Orleans Saints, his cup of coffee with the New England Patriots, and in Houston last year with Davis Mills. He still put up terrific numbers, and you're getting him in round 5, middle of round 5, 5.5. Overall pick 53, wide receiver 20. Okay, terrific value is Brandon Cooks. And more excited for Brandon Cooks this year than last year with year 2 of Davis Mills and the improvements the Houston Texans have made on the offensive side of the ball. Okay? Third wide receiver I wanted to mention, Juju Smith-Schuster of the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay? If we're going to downgrade Tyreek Hill because he's not with Patrick Mahomes, well, then I think we have to upgrade Juju, getting away from Ben and going to Patrick Mahomes. Juju Smith-Schuster is only 26 years old, okay? This year in ADP, he's going as wide receiver 35. You're talking about barely making it, okay, he as a wide receiver 3, okay? Overall pick 81, pick 8, round 8, 8.9 or so, roughly. Last year he only played 5 games. He was injured. 15 catches, 129 yards, 28 targets, no touchdowns. Not a good year out of Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, you talk about the ultimate chance of reclamation. Juju Smith-Schuster leaving Pittsburgh after an injury-marred season, playing with Ben Roethlisberger at the tail end of his career, and now going to Kansas City, who has lost their wide receiver 1 in Tyreek Hill. They still have Travis Kelce, obviously. He walks in with the situation with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, and the rookie Sky Moore, and there is a path for a ton of targets going Juju Smith-Schuster's way. Remember, Tyreek Hill was targeted 159 times last year. Travis Kelce did not limit the amount of targets that Travis Kelce got. Those targets have to go somewhere. I'm not saying Juju Smith's going to get all 159 of Tyreek Hill's. But 120 targets is more than a fair assessment of what you could see Juju Smith-Schuster get. Assuming he doesn't repeat the injury issues he had last year. He had 2 seasons in Pittsburgh with over 120 targets. He had 2 seasons in Pittsburgh with over 95 receptions. In his first 4 years in the league, he had 26 total touchdowns. Okay? It's over 6 touchdowns per season. Now, he had none last year. Okay? But Juju Smith-Schuster, especially in a PPR format, with his ability to play to take that short-range pass. Remember, this is a guy who last year only averaged 8.6 yards per catch. He's not necessarily a all-or-nothing boom or bust player, like I think Marquez Valdes-Scantling potentially is for Kansas City. Juju Smith-Schuster, and he can, to use my line, can PPR an opponent to death in fantasy. And getting him as wide receiver 35, getting him as your 3rd wide receiver, if he slides, getting him as your 4th wide receiver, that's a slam dunk play. Because on paper right now, other than Travis Kelce, because I'm not going to include him because his position is quote-unquote tight end, Juju Smith-Schuster is the best wide receiver, the number 1 wide receiver on this Kansas City Chiefs team. Number 4, Allen Lazard of the Green Bay Packers. Again, 26-year-old wide receiver. Currently going as wide receiver 46. So overall pick at 113. He is a 10th round draft pick in 12-team PPR formats. He's going as wide receiver 47. Borderline wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. And he is right now the veteran, or one of the young veteran wide receivers on this Green Bay Packer team. A Packer team that has brought in Sammy Watkins, that still has Randall Cobb, okay? Their draft pick, Christian Watson, who was put on the PUP list. Robert Tonyan, their tight end, is on the PUP list. And then they have the running backs, Jones and Dillon. Okay? Allen Lazard last season set career highs. And I believe it was his 3rd, maybe his 4th year in the league. He set a career high with 40 receptions, a career high with 60 targets, career high in 513 yards, and a career high with 8 touchdowns. Okay? Now, here's the funny part. Last season, Allen Lazard averaged 12.8 yards per reception. More than any other player I'm talking about today. He averaged more yards per catch than Tyreek Hill, than Brandon Cooks, than Juju Smith-Schuster. In fact, Allen Lazard averaged more yards per catch than his former teammate in Green Bay, Davante Adams, who averaged 12.6. Okay, not much, but more. And Allen Lazard is in a prime position, playing with Aaron Rodgers, to be his go-to. Do we trust Sammy Watkins? I think we know the answer to that. Randall Cobb has been a terrific possession receiver throughout his career. Okay? He's not an alpha any longer. Christian Watson starting the training camp on the PUP list. Let's see when he gets off. He's still a rookie. Allen Lazard is the default wide receiver 1 for Aaron Rodgers. That holds value. And we're drafting him in round 10. We're drafting him as the 47th wide receiver off the board. Allen Lazard is terrific value at that point. To the point where if you keep in your mind that you're seeing Allen Lazard on average going in round 10, you may want to reach a little early and grab him in rounds 8 or 9. Okay? Up next, Rondale Moore of the Arizona Cardinals. Last season's 2nd round pick. Going as wide receiver 62. 13th rounder. 13.10. He's a freebie. Last year he finished as wide receiver 65. Played in 14 games. 7 starts. Okay? Slated to play in that slot for Arizona. Now there's some interesting things, right? They brought in Hollywood Brown. They have a full season of Zach Ertz. A.J. Green is still there. He had a nice, okay season. Does A.J. Green stay healthy? That was a legitimate question. Is Brown better away from Baltimore and back with his college quarterback in Kyler Murray? Okay, but Rondale Moore was picked as a 2nd-round pick. Arizona has plans for him. And don't forget DeAndre Hopkins out with that suspension the first, I believe, 6 weeks. Okay? Rondale Moore is your classic PPR him to death type of wide receiver. Last season, in only 14 games, he had 54 catches, 64 yards, 54 catches on 64 targets, 435 yards, 8.1 yards per catch. Only got in the end zone once. But in round 13, he is a terrific upside draft pick. Okay? Featured in that Arizona offense in that slot role with A.J. Green and Marquise Brown out wide to either side of him. James Conner in the backfield, no Chase Edmonds catching the ball out of the backfield. Arizona has weapons. Kyler Murray just signed that big contract. Zach Ertz is still there. I have multiple leagues already I've drafted, including Scott Fishbowl, where Rondell Moore is on my roster. I'm not saying I'm starting him. He's not starting week 1. But he's going as wide receiver 62. That's your 6th wide receiver. Love the value. Love the value. Okay? Doesn't have to play. Even if you play 4 wide receivers and 2 flexes, he's right now today maybe your 2nd flex. Maybe, depending on your running back depth. But on the bench for upside as the season goes on with Kyler Murray, he's worth it. Because AJ Green has a history of injury, and age is not on his side. Marquise Brown did not do what we all thought he would do with Baltimore. Does it get better for him in Arizona? And who knows what we get out of Hopkins when he returns. So Rondell Moore has the ability to come out early and put some numbers on the board. Round 13, I'm willing to take the flyer. And finally, talk about taking the flyer. The rookie, Jalen Tolbert of the Dallas Cowboys, going as wide receiver 68. Again, a wide receiver 5 in round 15. Okay, rookie out of South Alabama, 3rd round pick, ran a 4.49 40 at the combine. And Dallas took him. And his competition right now to be the 3rd wide receiver on the Cowboys is James Washington. Sounds like a victory for me for Jalen Tolbert if he learns the playbook. Amari Cooper's in Cleveland. Michael Gallup is coming off an ACL. CeeDee Lamb is by far the number 1 wide receiver. There's no visions of Jalen Tolbert taking over there. But Dallas has shown, and Dak Prescott has shown, an ability to carry 3 wide receivers. He did it with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup. Okay? And now, with Cooper out, Gallup coming off the ACL, okay, and James Washington being the competition at wide receiver, Jalen Tolbert can develop a role for himself very quickly this summer and into the early part of the season. Okay? Dalton Schultz is there. Dalton Schultz is looking for a contract. Dalton Schultz is a red zone threat, no doubt about it. But again, we're talking about value. And in round 15, if you're doing a 16-round draft, okay, eliminate the kickers, get the defense in round 16, and make sure Jalen Tolbert is your, second to the last position player you draft. Okay, going against, the Washington defense, the Giants defense 4 times, Jalen Tolbert at that point can have value for this Dallas offense that is consistently operated with 3 wide receivers on the field with Dak Prescott. Those 3 wide receivers were Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup. Okay, it's going to be Lamb and Gallup. Once Gallup's fully healthy, it seems like he is. Who's the 3rd wide receiver? Could be James Washington, who's out of Pittsburgh. My bet is Jalen Tolbert eventually carves out a significant role for himself in that Cowboy offense. And like we said, round 15, sign me up for that. So Tyreek Hill, Brandon Cooks, Juju Smith-Schuster, Allen Lazard, Rondell Moore, Jalen Tolbert, different varieties, different degrees of value for each one of them. All right? Make sure you check out all the great content here on RotoBaller's YouTube channel. Watch the quarterback, the running back, ADP value plays, all the baseball waiver wires. Sign up for the premium package at rotoballer.com. Like and subscribe. Download the app. Follow me on Twitter at Aniano Fantasy. Have a good one, folks.